Okay, number 31, we notice we have a common factor of 10. So start by pulling out that common factor. And then we notice that in parentheses we do have a difference of 2 squares. X to the 6 is a perfect square because 6 is even. So if we write it as a difference of 2 squares, that would be x cubed squared minus 2 squared. So that's 10, and now we're going to just factor that difference of 2 squares. So we have x cubed plus 2, x cubed minus 2. Number 32 does not have a common factor. It's not a difference of 2 squares, but we notice it is a sum of 2 cubes. All right, it's equal to x cubed plus 3 cubed. And we have our sum of 2 cubes formula. I'll just write it up here. A cubed plus b cubed is equal to a plus b, a squared minus ab plus b squared. All right, so let's use that. So we have, in our first set of parentheses, we have x plus 3. All right, in the second set, we take x, we square it, and that's x squared, goes right here. Then we multiply the x and the 3, and don't forget that minus symbol, so we have a minus 3x there in the middle. And then we're going to square the 3, so we have a plus 9 right here. So that's the factorization. In number 33, we have another quadratic. This time c is greater than 0. That means the signs are going to be the same, either plus, plus, or minus, minus, and because of this negative in here, they will be minus, minus. So let's put that in. So we know the two signs are minus, minus. Here we're going to put 3xx. And now we just have to factor 20. We have a few ways. It could be 20 times 1, but I think that would give us a middle term that's, actually, no, maybe 20 times 1 would be good. No, 20 times 1. No, 20 times 1 would not work. But anyway, you could try it. 20 times 1 would not give us this middle term, or we could try 5 times 4, or 10 times 2. All right, so we have a few different things to try. All right, let's just say we tried 5, 4, putting the 5 there and the 4 here. Check the middle term, minus 4x minus 15x, and so we see we get close, minus 19x, but no, this is not the right factorization. All right, so we're going to try something else. Let's try instead, let's put the 5 here and the 4 here. All right, so here we get minus 5x minus 12x. Add those and we have minus 17x. Okay, so that's the right factorization. Number 34, again c greater than 0. And again, the middle term is negative, so that means it'll be minus minus. And here we want factors of 21, like 7 times 3. And we see that that'll give us the correct middle term. Wait 1 second, minus 7x minus 3x. Let me just write 3x there, just 1 minute. And that gives us the minus 10x. Number 35, we see that we have a common factor, so let's pull that out first. From the coefficients, we have a factor of 2, and we also have a factor of x. So let's start by pulling that out. So here we're left with an x squared. Here we're left with 5x. And here we're left with 6. Okay, now this quadratic in parentheses could be factored further. It factors further as x minus 3, x minus 2. Just check the middle term, make sure that's right. Minus 3x minus 2x gives us the minus 5x, so that's it. Number 36, another quadratic. We don't have a common factor, but because of the 10 here, there are a few ways of factoring 10, and there are many ways of factoring 12, so there are going to be many things we could try. In other words, this factorization is a little more difficult than the others that we've done. Okay, let's say we start off with 5x, 2x. If that doesn't work, we'll try 10xx. But let's say we start off with 5x, 2x. And now 12 could be 6 times 2 or 4 times 3. Okay. Well, what we could do is just lightly pencil in, let's say 4 times 3, and just without writing it all out, let's just look at this. Here we'd get 20, and then here we'd have 6x. We'd have to add that up. Okay, that's too big. All right, so let's say we go with, let me do this. Let's say we go with 4, 3 here. All right, so here we'd have 15, and here we'd have 8. Okay, so that looks good. Let's just write that out. Notice we have plus plus because everything's positive. So here we have 8x and 15x, and that is 23x, so that's good. So this is the right factorization. In number 37, we have 4 terms, and very often when we have 4 terms, we use grouping. So let's do that. Group the first 2 and the last 2 together and pull out common factors. From the first group, we can pull out a common factor of x squared. So we're left with x plus 7. In the second group, a common factor of 5, and again, we're left with x plus 7. So since we have the same polynomial in parentheses here, we can factor that out, put 1 copy of x plus 7 in front. And in the first group, we're left with x squared. And in the second group, 5. All right, so that's factored. (38) again is grouping. Pull out x squared. And we're left with x minus 2. And here, because of this subtraction symbol, we're going to pull out a minus 3. And we're left with x. Then when we pull out minus 3 from plus 6, we're left with factor minus 2. All right, the same thing here and here, so pull that out, pull out the x minus 2. And in the first group, we're left with x squared, and the second, minus 3. All right, here's our last example. We have 2 terms. We don't see a common factor, but we do notice that both terms are perfect cubes. Not perfect squares, but perfect cubes. Okay, so let's notice that 64 is actually 4 cubed, 27 is 3 cubed, and x to the 6 is a perfect cube because 6 is a multiple of 3. All right, so let's write this as a difference of 2 cubes. Whoops. So here, cube root of 64 is 4. For the cube root of x to the 6, just divide that exponent by 3 and we get x squared. And here we have 3 cubed. Now let's remember our difference of two cubes formula. Let's write it over here. A cubed minus b cubed is equal to a minus b. A squared plus ab plus b squared. Okay, so let's put down our parentheses. In the first set, we write 4x squared plus 3, 4x squared minus 3. That's our a and b. So right here, we're just going to square this, and we get 16x to the 4th. In the middle, multiply these together, and we have 12x squared. And then square this, and we get a plus 9. So that's our factorization. Okay. So that's the factorization of 64x to the 6 minus 27.